Willie and Taddy began to run a fever. Mr. Lincoln and I had spent the whole evening running back and forth up the stairs to check on our boys. As the weeks wore on, Taddy recovered, but Willie grew weaker. The doctors, those doctors did him little good. And then one afternoon, it was Thursday, and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, February of 1862, my brilliant boy, Willie, passed away. I could not withstand such grief. I recall as Mr. Lincoln stood there at his bedside. I could not even enter the room. Lizzie stood next to Mr. Lincoln. She had bathed my son, dressed him in that little blue velvet suit for his burial. Mr. Lincoln gently lifted her hand and kissed it. Told Lizzie, "Thank you so much, Mrs. Keckley, for all you have done for my son." I could not even attend his funeral. There are times when I have seen Mr. Lincoln retreat to his office. Every Thursday afternoon he takes no appointments. He closes the door. He will not eat nor drink on Thursday in honor of his son's death. I have stood at that closed door. I have heard him weep and call out his boy's name. "Willie, you were too good for this earth." I could not seem to recover from such a loss. I had nowhere to turn. I finally turned to my dearest friend, Lizzie. She had lost a son and she could understand my grief. She took me to the hospitals where the boys who have been wounded in the battles are taken. She took me to churches in Washington where the members of those congregations were trying to help slaves coming out into the free states. There I went and I saw hundreds of men, women, and children sitting upon the bare ground, dressed in filthy rags, waiting for some scrap of food that the congregation could find. I donated $5,000 to the task of helping these slaves coming out of the slave states into the free. My dear Lizzie made me understand what true suffering was. These newspapers have not relented on their attacks of Mr. Lincoln. Why, they have continued to produce these obscene drawings of my husband portrayed as a baboon, a wild animal who cannot govern this country. And I am attacked in these newspapers, and my dear little sister Emily. The newspapers say the Todd sisters have set themselves up in the president's house. They are spies for the Confederacy. They are selling commodities out of the back door of the White House. Nothing could be further from the truth. My little sister Emily was invited here to the president's house by Mr. Lincoln himself. She is a young widow with 2 small children. She has lost her husband, Captain Helm. She came here to comfort me and I to comfort her in our losses. And the newspapers have attacked us, driving my own little sister from this house. I lost 2 of my brothers in that filthy war. My brothers were Confederate officers. They fought and they loyal to my Mr. Lincoln. Oh, I do apologize for my behavior. I know if Mr. Lincoln were here with me at this moment, he would certainly admonish me. Oh, I do apologize. Oh, the hour grows quite late, and I have kept all of you too long. You see, Mr. Lincoln and I, while we are going to attend the theater this evening, the Ford's Theater, we are to see a play called Our American Cousin, starring Miss Laura Keene. Oh, she's a popular actress in Washington these days. The play is a comedy, a farce. Oh, Mr. Lincoln, why, he enjoys those comedies so. I think this will be very good for the president. He's so much calmer these days, and I think you shall enjoy this evening's entertainment. I had invited the General and Mrs. Grant to accompany us to the theater, but that old Mrs. Grant said she had some kind of important business in Philadelphia, New Jersey, or some such place, which is just fine with me. Then I do not have to look at that sour old face all evening. I have invited a young couple, a newly engaged young couple, Miss Clara Harris and her fiancé, Major Rathbone. Oh, I think it will be such a delight to share this evening with this young couple at such a wonderful time of their lives. I really must be off. I must remind Mr. Lincoln to change his shirt before we're off to the theater. Oh, I do thank you so kindly for coming to visit with me this afternoon and to take tea. I do hope that you enjoy all of the festivities in Washington City these days. For so many have fought to preserve this union. Thank you. Thank you so much. So very kindly. Are there any questions that I might answer for them? I've stunned you into silence. Is that well, I do thank you so very kindly for inviting me to this lovely atmosphere, to this beautiful house, and congratulate all of you for doing such a work of absolute love. It is indeed a labor of love to preserve this house and all of I will leave Mrs. Lincoln now on that fateful day of April 14th, 1865. And I do thank you, as Jessica, I do thank you very kindly for inviting me to this wonderful house.
We're looking forward to having you come back in October.
Oh, I'm coming back as... What am I coming back as? I'm going to be reincarnated.
Salem witch trials.
Oh, how appropriate for October. Isn't that a surprise?
We are in Salem after Salem.